NTA International News.
Nigerian government restates commitment to recruit a well-equipped police as National Security Summit opens in Abuja. United States and EFCC collaborate to check illicit cross-border financing. Operation Lafayette Daily gets new commander. And Standard Organization of Nigeria takes steps to eliminate fake and substandard products from the market. Thank you for joining us on the news on NTA International. My name is Ifeanyi Okafor. The Nigerian government has restated its commitment to bequeathing to the nation a well-equipped and highly motivated Nigeria police that will not only protect the citizens but also guarantee a crime-free society. President Muhammadu Buhari said this at the opening of the National Security Summit organized by the police, maintaining that his administration will also encourage states to come up with viable and effective community policing models at the grassroots. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
A time when national security is at the front burner of national discourse is designed to galvanize citizen support for the Nigeria Police and other law enforcement agencies in the renewed drive towards addressing prevailing challenges of security.
To guide the national security by the Inspector General of Police. Thank you very much.
President Muhammadu Buhari described as imperative community input to policing and crime management in view of the current national security challenges in which insurgency, kidnapping, armed robbery and transnational crimes have evolved to threaten national values and overall progress of the country. To this end, he promised to ensure that at least 10,000 additional police officers are employed, while properly trained and equipped anti-terrorism multi-agency task force is established to effectively address the challenge of future insurgency in a sustainable manner. He also said CCTV monitoring system will be expanded across major cities and towns in the country to further strengthen the security of the public space.
While assuring that our administration will bequeath to this nation a reformed, reorientated, well-trained, well-equipped and highly motivated police force, this dream can only be attained with the support of the students.
President Buhari commended the Inspector General of Police for dismantling the roadblocks across Nigeria which constituted a dark side of policing, introducing a safer highway motorized patrol scheme and discouraging pre-trial detention of citizens.
These initiatives, if properly implemented, will undoubtedly address those factors that strengthen public confidence in the police and hence create good ground for the practice of community-led policing to flourish. I am tasking the police not only to say but to do, and we are promising Nigeria.
In a keynote address, Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, said efforts at reforming and repositioning the Nigeria Police and other security agencies in tune with changing times must be reciprocated by joining the crusade against corruption.
The President, we are 100% in support of your fight against corruption in this country. And it is our belief that all those found guilty should not only have their entire assets seized and forfeited to government, but also face jail sentences. Those who conspire to corrupt our national institutions from the outside must face the same consequences as those who do it from within. To encourage the spirit of police-community partnership as a strategy towards addressing our crime and national security challenges.
There were goodwill messages from the Police Service Commission, Ministry of Police Affairs and the Police Community Relations Committee, while former Abia State Governor Oji Uzokalu expressed optimism that President Buhari's efforts at stamping out Boko Haram and other crimes can be enriched by the outcome of the summit. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Ahead of the forthcoming gubernatorial election in Kogi State, North Central Nigeria, Governor Idris Wada has empowered security agents in the state to ensure quality service delivery. Solomon Ayedehim reports that the effort is in line with the commitment of the state government to rid the state of crime.
The current effort of the state government was geared towards strengthening the operational capacity of the men of Nigerian police in combating crime in Kogi State. A total of 20 Hilux vehicles, 225 metal detectors, and other security gadgets were commissioned and distributed to security agents by Governor Idris Wada.
With the presentation of these vehicles, I'm confident that the police will now deploy higher mobility to drive away the evil people in our midst.
While urging the police to use the facilities for the purpose intended, his administration, Captain Wada, promised will continue to do its best towards protecting the lives and property of the people, particularly during the forthcoming state gubernatorial election.
All we have to say is that we have to double our efforts and ensure that the people that we say can sleep and take their two lives close.
Kogi State government had before now distributed 20 brand new Hilux vehicles and gadgets to security agencies in the state, bringing the total to 40. Solomon Ayedehim.
The U.S. government's resolve to throw its weight behind the Muhammadu Buhari administration to fight crime and insecurity has been demonstrated by the training of Nigerian security agencies at the UFCC Academy in Abuja. The focus is to check illicit cross-border financing. Nancy Godianimuhi reports.
Most of the criminal challenges facing the world today, ranging from money laundering to terrorism, are seen in the Middle East, Latin America, including parts of Nigeria and its neighbors like Niger, Chad and Cameroon. Experts have traced to illicit money movements. That is why the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria organized this training to further enlighten Nigeria security outfits on how to track the illegal act, in addition to a donation of a cash counting machine to facilitate EFCC's work.
Our main goal here is to help the Nigerian people and the Nigerian government stop the flow of financial funds. And as one of our speakers said, if you take away the money, then you take away the reason why people do crime.
The EFCC, reputed for crime investigation, has been in this fight for years.
The EFCC has benefited from several training programs organized by the United States, both locally here in Nigeria and in Ghana, Malta, Botswana and the United States. The impact of such exposure on the operations of the Commission is invaluable.
On the 27th of June, a formal MOU was signed in Dakar between the NAFIWA and the EFCC Academy. And following on that, in September, we will roll out the very first program for anti-corruption investigators and prosecutors and administrators in West Africa.
Participants were drawn from the police, NDLEA, immigration and customs.
This time around, it's not going to be business as usual.
Indeed, this training by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the EFCC for all security watchdogs in Nigeria lends a more formidable approach to fighting the menace of cross-border money movements. Nancy Godianimuhi, NTA News.
Still on security matters, the Nigerian Army has appointed a new commander for Operation Lafia Dole. He is General Yusuf Masood Abubakar. A statement from the office of the Acting Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Sani Kukasheka, says the appointment is to meet up with the established time frame of bringing to a successful conclusion the fight against terrorism and insurgency. The statement adds that this is the first time the Nigerian Army is deploying core headquarters in the field. The appointment is with immediate effect. Now, individuals and organizations that have impacted positively on their immediate environment and also contributed to the socio-economic development of the nation are to be conferred with Productivity Merit Awards. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Labour and Productivity, said this when he met with the media on the forthcoming 15th edition of the National Productivity Day and conferment of the National Productivity Order of Merit Award. Emmanuel Ayiniro tells us more.
Productivity consciousness promotes healthy competition, hard work, high performance,
patriotism and quality service delivery among workers, both in public and private sectors. For any nation to be self-reliant and competitive in the international market, improved productivity must be applied in all sectors of the economy. To achieve this aim, the National Productivity Center, through the promotion of productivity consciousness, has continued to encourage workers to be productive through national policy on productivity, among which is the recognition to those who have been contributing to national development.
The National Productivity is a powerful incentive scheme designed to positively affect productivity.
Since inception, 292 individuals and 71 organizations have been recognized. In this year's edition, 11 individuals and 2 organizations are to be honored with National Productivity Order of Merit Award later this week. Emmanuel Ayinbo, NTA News.
Worried over high level of substandard products in the country, the Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) has introduced what it calls Operation E-Plus to eliminate fake and substandard products from the market. The initiative is in partnership with civil society organizations under the Ages of Standards Awareness Group. Ruben Okala reports.
Apart from posing as danger to people's health, substandard products also contribute negatively to the economy. Statistics from the regulator indicate that more than 40% of products in the Nigerian market are substandard. In 2014, over 5 billion naira worth of substandard goods were intercepted and destroyed by the regulator Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON). Operation E-Plus is geared towards enforcing standards in the country.
Clearly, it's a huge impact, and until we get it to around 10%, I will rest. That is where we should be. Every time you go to buy a product, you have to ask certain questions. And that's why this campaign is about ask well.
The issue we are discussing now affects everybody. So the price will be that of everybody. But we need to lead. We need to take the first steps and show you what we really need.
Members of the civil society groups were later inducted into Operation E-Plus to serve as vanguards of standards across the country.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) is using the Operation E-Plus to canvass for zero tolerance for substandard products in the country. In Abuja, Ruben Okala, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. For review of the top stories that as the National Security Summit organized by the Nigeria Police opens in Abuja, President Buhari has promised to recruit a well-equipped and highly motivated Nigeria Police that will not only protect the citizens but guarantee a crime-free society. And the United States government collaborates with EFCC to fight crime and insecurity, especially illicit cross-border financing. Market operators commend CBN in its quest to support the Naira. Plus, malnutrition as a challenge in Nigeria, stakeholders take steps to reverse the trend. Good to have you back on the news on NTA International. Improving the poor state of Nigerian roads will require all emergency intervention funds and reviewing the mandate of agencies charged with road construction, maintenance and transport policy formulation. Guests on NTA program Good Morning Nigeria also suggested that the high cost of road construction in Nigeria, aided by corruption, needs to be tackled headlong. Amina Nigerian reports.
The poor state of Nigerian roads has been blamed on several factors, including substandard construction, irregular maintenance, abuse of roads by users, insufficient funds, as well as corruption.
The Senate set up a special committee, a special ad hoc committee just on roads in Nigeria.
The very fact that over 90 senators appended their signatures to call for that very motion attests to the reality of the situation on the ground.
Discussants say the way forward is to review the functions of agencies tasked with the responsibility of producing roads.
I don't think we really need a task force right now. Rather, we need to get what we have working. If they are not working, scrap them.
That when there is issue of corruption that borders on criminality beyond what our ethical committee can deal with, we send to ICCC.
Others advocated for an intervention fund to address the insufficiency of resources for road infrastructure.
The intervention agency might also be situated on existing platform. But if you declare an emergency for a particular area, then it means that we are going to get the parliament to support a better budget process, that the cost of a kilometer network of Nigerian road is higher than the cost of any award, any part of the world.
Above all, the discussants agreed that unless other means of transportation, particularly the rail, is developed, roads will continue to be overstretched. Amina Hussein, NTA News.
Market operators commend Central Bank of Nigeria in its quest to support the Naira, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel expects IMF to take part in this bailout. Shazala Mekir has details.
The Central Bank of Nigeria, the regulatory body of deposit money banks, has resolved to ensure the stabilization of the Naira. One of such policies seems to be yielding results, with the recent Apex Bank beaming of its searchlight on the circulation of dollars within the banking industry, giving rise to accountability and scrutiny. The Naira has been under intense pressure against the greenback for some time now, giving market operators cause to worry. A visit to the Zone 4, where the parallel market counts rate indicates that the Naira is expected to appreciate further owing to sustained dollar sales, which the operators say is very commendable.
The Naira is appreciating for now. Today we are down to like 217, where we said 20. And even the 20 no demand, the government will really strive for this time around.
As a businessman, we've been experiencing a lot of changes since Naira has been appreciating. If you look at, if you go to market right now, you'll find out that things have actually improved.
In the meantime, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, has disclosed that the IMF would only take part in a new bailout for Greece before a parliamentary vote if the conditions bordering on Greek pension reform and debt relief are met. Shiazalam Eki, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has said that he will gladly reverse or abandon some inherited economic policies if doing so will lead to the creation of more jobs for Nigerians. The President, at a meeting with executive members of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, directed the Ministries of Industries, Trade and Investment and Finance, as well as the Central Bank and other relevant government agencies, to evolve new policies before next year's budget to boost cosmetic manufacturing. A statement by presidential spokesman Femi Adesina said the President lamented that the textile industry that employed about 320,000 people in the past only parades about 30,000 now. About 1.7 million children in Nigeria have been diagnosed to be malnourished, according to a recent statistics released by the United Nations Children's Fund in collaboration with Federal Ministry of Health. Aisha Bali reports that using a strategy community-based management of acts malnutrition, UNICEF has reached out to 1 million children, and intervention has saved about 200,000 of these young ones.
70 million children globally are suffering from malnutrition. The report says about 1.7 million under 5 children in Nigeria are severely malnourished, accounting for 10% of the global burden. consequences of malnutrition can make a child stunted, meaning a child is shorter than his or her age, and in some cases wasted what nutritionists describe as being too short and thin for one's age. The UNICEF intervention is to save children suffering from this problem, as the news assessment of 2009 allowed only 11 high-risk states in northern Nigeria to benefit from this program.
It's supposed to be an integrated program where you cannot separate the mother from the child. It's like a continuum of care. So if a government is supporting issues of the mother, indirectly it is translated to improving the quality of the children she's likely to have.
See that the numbers of children being reached every year has been increasing. And this year we expect to reach more than 300,000 children with the program. So that way tremendous.
More advocacy on the need for expectant mothers to visit health facilities for antenatal is necessary, as malnutrition could be detected during pregnancy. Also, there is the need to scale up community-based management programs, since the communities have the highest malnutrition burden. In Abuja, Aisha Ubal, NTA News.
The robotic revolution has been successfully implemented in China's Guangdong province, home to most of the world's top manufacturing industries. Taking advantage of the reduced cost of automation provided by the government, some factories have replaced about 600 workers with as little as 60 robots and have doubled production and even reduced cost. Juliet Aino in Guangdong reports.
Replacing human labor is no longer a fear for the future. It is already happening in China's manufacturing city, Dongguan, a base for industries for the manufacture of electronics, electrical machinery and equipment, textile and garments, food and beverages, paper making, cell phones, solar PVs and more. The city of Dongguan is encouraging companies to automate production.
Sometimes humans' work will be disturbed by his emotion, like I was angry, I was sad, and maybe sometimes he or she will make mistakes during the assembling, during the task, but robots will not. Robot will not feel any exhausted or feel any sad, any negative emotion. He will repeat the behavior as you told him.
The incentives offered by the government, which include subsidies on robots purchased, have encouraged many factories to seek the automation solution. Some companies have even initiated 90% replacement of workers with robots.
Robots will not replace human beings totally, because there are still some jobs we need human beings to do such kind of job, which can require high flexibility.
The city has reported over 100% increase in production since the robotics trend, plus an increase in production quality and a significant reduction in goods defect rate. The mayor of Dongguan, however, assures that humans still have a role to play.
So people is always the first and major force in production. So those replaced workers, they could have all chances in other trades, for example, in the hospitality and hotel services and in the finance sectors.
Other cities in Guangdong province are also supporting the production and application of robots in their factories to reduce labor costs, make more profits, and promote economic development. From Dongguan, Guangdong province, Julieta Aina, NTA News.
Julieta there from Dongguan. And now moving to Egypt, where the President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi approved the setting up of special courts to fight terrorism. Hundreds of thousands protest across Brazil seeking the impeachment of President Rousseff, and Iraqi Prime Minister moves to check corruption, reduces number of ministries. Joseph Orok has details of news outside Nigeria.
The Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has approved an anti-terrorism law that sets up special courts and provides protections to its enforcers. Though controversial, the law stipulates a minimum fine of £200,000, about $25,000, and maximum of £500,000 for anyone distress from government statements in publishing or spreading false reports on attacks or security operations against armed fighters. And as part of a sweeping campaign to reduce corruption and mismanagement, the Iraqi Prime Minister Haider has ordered the immediate reduction in the number of ministers from 33 to 22. The announcement came as President Abadi made preliminary moves towards arresting top officials, including former Prime Minister Nuri al-Maliki, accountable for military disasters in the cities of Mosul and Ramadi, which have been seized by Islamic State's IC group. And in Southern America, hundreds of thousands protested across Brazil, calling for the impeachment of President Rousseff. Police say about 350,000 people took part in the protest in Sao Paulo, while another 25,000 people protested in the capital, Brasilia. Many voters accused her of failing to stamp out corruption and blame her for the economy's worst slump in 25 years. Ms. Rousseff, who is less than a year into her second term as president, has also had many demonstrating in her support in recent months. Joseph Oro, NTA News.
And a quick look at sports now, as Nigeria's underage golfers promised to defend the country's name in Kenya as Nigeria Taekwondo Federation selects team for All Africa Games. Amanzi Marcus reports.
Nigeria's contingent to the 2015 African Junior Under-17 Boys and Girls Golf Championship in Mombasa, Kenya, departed the country on Sunday with a promise to do the nation proud. The Nigeria Golf Federation believes that the Kenyan Open, due to tee off on Tuesday, is a major boost to the development of golf at the grassroots level.
We believe that Africa will rule the game of golf in a not too distant future.
We promise to play good golf so and enjoy ourselves and be good ambassadors of the country.
Following the conclusion of its national trials on Monday in Abuja, the Nigeria Taekwondo Federation has selected 16 athletes made up of 8 males and 8 females to represent the country at the forthcoming 11 All-Africa Games in Congo-Brazzaville. Officials say training in specific areas will now take center stage as the athletes prepare to compete in 8 different categories.
So right now, as you can see, they are hungry to win, and that's a very big strength.
The Weightlifting Federation of Nigeria has reiterated its commitment towards winning medals for Nigeria at the 11th All-Africa Games in Congo-Brazzaville. The federation, which over the weekend in Abuja refuted rumors of ill feelings in camp, said the athletes are well equipped to represent the nation at the September Games.
The National Sports Bureau has projected about 15 gold medals for Nigerian Weightlifting Federation. Me as a coach, I'm telling you, have really worked towards that.
Formerly I was weighing, my body was 69, but now I'm weighing 73, which is for you to know that the camp is very okay for me.
The Sports News Update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
For Tuesday's weather prospects in Nigeria and some world cities, over now to our weather forecast.